Hi guys, I'm back. It's been a while again. I have been avidly searching for jobs lately. Kyle and I got our first dose of the COVID vaccine. Yay! 2 days before we were supposed to get our second dose, we got COVID. So currently we are home right now quarantining, or in quarantine, whatever. And we're about halfway through. Luckily, because we had the first dose in our system, our symptoms have been very mild. Kyle actually lost his taste and smell. No fevers or anything like that, but it was just a couple days that we were just kind of tired and we kind of laid low, but now we were feeling a lot better and getting some projects done at home, and hopefully we'll be right back up on our feet very soon here out in the world. But for the time being, Kyle will be joining us today. And I have a kind of like a throwback vlog of our trip to Utah and Arizona, but I thought it would be a really great time to share that with you guys. It's the next day and I have Kyle here with me to go over trip things. We are sitting on the floor right now because the sun's almost all the way down, so this is the only place that there's light because we have been moving dirt from our driveway to our backyard all day. And Kyle's a little bit pooped. We needed to get all new soil in our backyard to grow grass, and we figured right now is a good time while we have a lot of energy and while we have to be off anyways. You okay?
Yeah.
Kyle can't sit crisscross applesauce, so he's struggling right now.
The most inflexible person of all time.
So for our trip, we flew from Grand Rapids to Las Vegas, and it was a one-way flight, wasn't it? Or did we have a layover?
No, I think it was one way.
Or not one way, it was straight through.
Straight through, yeah. No layover.
Yes. And when we got to Las Vegas, we drove 4 hours and 20 minutes. I just looked it up because I couldn't remember, from Las Vegas to Page, Arizona, which is where we went to Lake Powell, which overlaps, I think, 3 states, Arizona, Utah, and Nevada. But the prettiest part was in Page, Arizona that I could see, and the most accessible for paddleboarding and hiking, which is what we wanted to do. So we did that drive, which was actually really beautiful. I'll show you guys some footage of that. The 4 hours and 20 minutes actually flew by pretty quickly for us because it was just such a different landscape from like where we live.
Honestly, one of the best drives ever though. It did fly by, and the landscape is so cool when we were passing through each state. So.
There was do you remember that stretch of time where probably like an hour, we were probably an hour out?
Literally nothing besides like random like little neighborhoods almost, but there was not a gas station, a grocery store, a pharmacy. There's nothing, which
would have been good to know because I think I had to pee really bad and I was really thirsty.
Yeah.
Which luckily we made it through, but it was kind of scary for a little bit. We kept saying how do people live here?
Yeah, it was insane.
How did they get to the grocery store? Because it was so far to drive anywhere. So when we arrived to Page, Arizona, the sun was setting, and we went directly to Horseshoe Bend, which is an overlook point, because we only had a couple days there. Actually, I think we had one night there, and we really wanted to fit in as much as we possibly could, which ended up being a really great decision. There was probably a half-mile hike out to Horseshoe Bend, so we were kind of jogging out there, and when we did reach that point, it was really beautiful. Really, really great scenery. Definitely something you could do as a quick little stop, or you could stay a little bit longer and really enjoy the scenery. But
it's a good intro.
Yeah.
And what to expect in the surrounding area where we were, Lake Powell area.
Yeah.
Right? So.
Yeah. We were finally got to see what it looked like, because how the surrounding areas of Lake Powell are, it's all a drop off and then down to Lake Powell. So you can't really get into Lake Powell except for the launch points. You can just see it.
Yeah.
It's straight down.
Cool.
It's really, really cool. So the next day we got up early. Good morning.
Day 2.
Breakfast time. and we went and rented paddle boards, and we did that for the entire day, and it was like the coolest experience. Kyle and I were talking about going back and getting a houseboat because they do a lot of houseboating out there, and possibly doing that in the future with family or friends. So that's definitely something we'll add to our bucket list in the future.
Do you remember coming in from the paddle boards?
Yeah.
The weather.
So we had like the most perfect weather all day. It was no wind, really, really calm, sunny, just like beautiful weather. And then like on our way paddling into the dock. I guess it's called the dock, right?
Sure.
Okay, so we had to get out the ring light. It was too dark, and I don't think it was focusing. When we came into, what is it called? A launch pad? The marina?
It's not a marina. A marina is where boats are. It's not a marina.
Like as we were returning to our cars from the water, to our cars, we didn't have multiple cars even. A storm started, and it was the strongest winds I've ever experienced, like while being on water. And like I was about to start crying because I was so scared that we weren't gonna make it back to shore.
We lost Aubrey at sea temporarily.
It was scary though there for a minute. Like I remember looking at you and I was like, I'm gonna slam into these rocks right now.
It was just weird because it was like so perfect,
like, what
so
do you
calm,
do?
and then like literally 5 minutes later it was in hurricane weather, almost, without like the rain. But the winds were crazy, the waves were crazy. People were like scattering like as we got closer to like the launch point or whatever.
Luckily we made it back, and overall it was like a really good experience. And they did warn us that there was supposed to be some higher winds later in the day, but they did not say like, oh my gosh, you're gonna think that you might die in this. Like, Brody wanted to join the party. You can see him in the shot a little bit. His ears. Hi, bud. You being cute? So after that very long day of paddleboarding, we were done with our hotel for that place.
Page to Zion. I think it was like just under 3 hours. I'm gonna guess.
I think it was like 2.
All right. Let's see.
1 hour and 47 minutes.
Dang.
Yeah. So that after we like ate, we drove from Page, Arizona, Lake Powell area to Zion National Park. We entered Zion National Park in the middle of the night, and if you've ever driven through Zion National Park, which I'll show you some footage of it, but in the middle of the night, it was so scary because you see these giant like mountains and cliffs and rocks, and there's definitely a drop off in some spots, but Kyle was driving and he's like night blind too, which was probably a bad idea. But
I'm a very good driver though.
I'm an anxious driver, so I probably would have just been crying and white knuckling it through. It was really scary getting through, but also a really cool experience. And then we arrived to our hotel, which we stayed at the Bumbleberry Inn, which it was really great accommodations, really great price. I highly recommend it if you're staying in the Zion area. There's like their downtown area is called Springdale, and it's a bunch of like hotels, restaurants, shops that are like on the street that lead up to the entrance of Zion National Park. So you can actually stay inside the park, but it's really easy to go from these hotels to the actual
it's
park
like walking
entrance.
Distance
Yeah, we could have walked, but they actually have a shuttle system too that runs all the time. It was running during COVID, and it's free, and it takes you right to the entrance, which is awesome. We stayed in Zion area for the longest amount of time. I think we did 3 nights.
Yeah.
And
3 nights, 4 days, maybe.
That area was really cool. It's very, like, there's tons of souvenir shops, which they're not really cheesy. There's, like, cool t-shirts, which we kind of wanted, and we did get a couple great ones. And there's really good food restaurants there. It's not incredibly overpriced or anything like that. There are some grocery stores which are overpriced, but worth it if you want to save some money and get some groceries and make some things, which we did, because obviously we're younger and on a budget. So
also from our experience staying at the Bumbleberry Inn, they had
breakfast.
Yeah, breakfast, which was great because it was at like their local restaurant, like right in front of the hotel.
Because they usually do like a continental, but because of COVID, they were giving you like a voucher, so you could actually go to their restaurant that they had out front and get, like, there was a couple options. You could get like pancakes or whatever.
Yeah, which was great. We got like eggs and sausage.
Yeah,
and,
which is like an American breakfast.
Yeah. then they had a pool. They had
yeah, an outdoor pool.
Yeah, which the scenery. I mean, you're 5 minutes walking from Zion, so like you can see all the cool.
Yeah, you're surrounded by like
Yeah.
the scenery, which is really cool. We did a couple of the hikes. We hiked the Narrows,
which was so cool.
Yeah,
so cool.
Which we had like the perfect weather for it because sometimes it gets like up to your waist. For us, it was like I think I fell in
water.
like once.
Yeah, because
it was up to my butt.
You're hiking through like I don't even know what to call it. It's stronger than a stream. It's kind of like a little. What'd you call it? River.
The Narrows.
Well, yeah. There's water, so you have to get these special shoes. They're just waterproof, like boots, basically, to keep your feet dry.
So after Zion, we had one more night, and we drove from Zion to Bryce Canyon.
How far was that drive?
Okay, it's about an hour and a half to 2 hours, so...
I think it took us probably an hour and 45 minutes, something like that.
Bryce Canyon was our last stop, and man, oh man, do I wish we would have stayed there longer. Mm-hmm. I'm happy with how much time we spent in the other spots. I think it was definitely worth it.
We just wish we would have had a longer trip.
Yeah, but now we know, and we'll definitely go back to Bryce Canyon. So Bryce, the area is very like limited. It's definitely not as developed as Zion is. There's not as many
like
shops.
One small strip. That's
yeah, and it's like this. It's a very like Americanized restaurant.
But it feels like
there's a Subway.
It feels like a Western touristy type. It's like really, it's hard to describe, but like I feel like that's the best way I could describe it.
Yeah. So Bryce Canyon was really cool. We were really exhausted. We did some small hikes, but I think like just the views, because again it's a canyon, so you can overlook all these things called hoodoos. And
we went at sunset and sunrise.
Yeah. And it was the most beautiful times to go. The photos we got were just gorgeous. The sun was setting, the moon was out. It was so cool. And I will definitely go back there just because I think they have a lot of more camping out there. Or campgrounds.
Which I would love to do. It'd be so cool to camp there.
So then from there, we drove back to Las Vegas, and we drove down the strip, but that's as far as we went. And that was our trip out west, and I highly recommend it. If you have any questions about where we stayed, you can definitely comment below. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and until next time.